All right, so I'm going to do another video here to talk about a subject that is a real deep dive into probate. This has an application to every other area of the law, but I want to focus like a laser on probate and how this affects you as a consumer and me as a lawyer. We're going to use as the jumping off point an opinion that was just released a couple of days ago, February 6th. And this opinion is called the PILAC opinion, PILAC versus Regal. And this came to my attention because I get alerts as an attorney about every single appellate case that comes out. Many of them have to do with areas of law that I'm not interested in at all. A lot of it's criminal stuff. A lot of it is insurance issues and other things. And there's a real small universe of cases that deal with probates and wills. And again, one of the things so fascinating about the area of probate law right now is the fact that there is a teeny tiny universe of appellate court opinions. And in many ways, for me, it's like where I made my bones, as we say in the legal world, is where I really became a lawyer after years of practice. At that point in time, I jumped into the deep end of the pool on Florida foreclosure cases. At that time, that was back in, I don't know, 2007, decade, 2 decades ago. Jesus, that shows how old I am. And there was a teeny tiny universe of cases that dealt with Florida foreclosure cases. I started making the written opinions in appellate law on that because I jumped in and I was all about appealing when the trial court judge got it wrong. Well, folks, that's where we are in probate. People have been dying in this state for a couple of years, couple hundred years, and there is a teeny tiny universe of probate cases that are reduced down to appellate opinions. So what's going to start happening is more and more probate cases are getting appealed, and so we're going to start to see more and more appellate opinions be released. But here's where I really want to allow you to jump behind the curtain, if you will, see what's behind the legal system in appellate cases in particular, and we're going to do that relying on this case called PILAC. All right, so the opinion comes out, and one of the inside baseball scary things about what happens in the practice of law is that what we read in the appeal is often not really what was going on in the case. I remember the first case that I had, Fifth District Court of Appeals, PILAC's out of there, and this is, I'm gonna have to go find that thing. This was decades ago, right? So the appeal is filed, and I brief it and go and argue it in the Fifth DCA, and then boom, this opinion comes out. And as the attorney that's intimately involved in the thing, you go, oh my God, what I'm reading here has nothing to do, well, not nothing to do, but wasn't really the issue that I or the other lawyer thought was important in that case. I'll get to the deep inside baseball about that one, about what I've discovered about the legal system. But here we've got this case PILAC, and it's a very important case because it deals with an issue that comes up, and that is, when is a judge going to deal with a codicil or another will coming along, and this thing gets appealed. So what I want to do is I want to read the briefs in the case. So I get this opinion. I do not take even this 7-page long opinion at face value, and I want to go and do the deep dive. So what I do is I go into the Florida appellate case system. I'm an attorney. I'm a registered user. Anybody has access to it. I'm a big proponent of public records. Interesting thing, the very first case that I filed before I even got out of law school was a case on public records. But here we have the inside baseball. You want to dive deep into what actually happens in the law. This is when you dive into the appellate record. And what I want to read in an appellate record is what was actually going on here. Did a lawyer miss something? And this is, again, deep inside baseball. Sometimes when things are appealed, we as lawyers jump into this thing and we realize, boom, somebody's lawyer screwed something up here, and the client may not even be aware of it. The judge may not even be aware of it, trial court, and it may not make it all the way up to appellate court, and they may be aware of it. But where this can be seen is when you look at the appeal. Now, I want to read PILAC because, boom, this opinion comes out. Cool. The appellate court has spoken. The 3 judges have issued their opinion, and I want to know what was really going on in this case. So the first thing I do is I come over into ACIS, Florida Appellate Case Information System, right up there, right? But what I really want to do is dive into the case. I want to read the briefs. I want to get deep into it. Well, I click on the link and boom, this thing jumps up here. So I've opened up a can of worms here. I've gone down a rabbit hole, which is now going to divert me for weeks and months now, because I have found here on February 16, 2026, a major problem in the appellate system. And my public records friends, I'm going to tag you on this. I'm going to ask you to pay attention to this. But there is a problem with the appellate clerk system right now, and that is apparently by default, when a case comes in, they mark it secret, hidden from public view. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a major public records problem that I am going to start unraveling right now, because this should not happen. There's a law, Chapter 119. Public records are just that. Every record in this state is supposed to be accessible to every single person, not just lawyers, but every single person. I am supposed to be able to read this initial brief. I am supposed to be able to read this order to show cause. I am supposed to be able to read, in particular, this document. I guess that one I can. But it is not, for reasons that are apparently systemic, i.e. when a notice of appeal is filed, everything is marked hidden and locked away from the public. So I first tried to click on the notice of appeal. I want to read what was being appealed on here. And 10 minutes ago, this thing was hidden. I got the clerk on the phone and helpfully said, look, this is a probate case and there ain't nothing about this judge's order granting petition to establish lost will and testament that should ever be hidden from the public. And the clerk very helpfully went through there and on my request, took this order issued by Judge Brad King on 1/20. Whoa! That's kind of crazy to me right there off the fact, right? So we get a judge that issues this 5-page order or whatever it is, and very quickly we get a written opinion. The reason why I went, whoa, is that, this is a year. This thing's fully briefed and an appeal opinion issued right away. But the issue that we have here is that across the board, too much of this stuff is getting hidden behind the scenes. One thing I wanted to read is why was there an order to show cause issued? Oh, well, she's gone through. Cool. So the clerk, in response to my call a couple minutes ago, is going through there, and she's manually making this stuff available to the public. Let's see if she's gone into the brief. No, see. So she hasn't gone into the brief. Let's look at the answer brief. No, that's still hidden. So, but that's the inside baseball and what's going on. All right, we're going to go one step deeper down the rabbit hole. You ready for this one? What I wanted to see next was the actual oral argument. This oral argument is not related to the PLAC case, but it's an example of what I want to see available, which is I want to be able to search in here, see the oral argument, and attach it to the case. This is really important information here, folks. Really valuable stuff for lawyers, for the general public, for people to be able to see all these oral opinions placed in one place, or the written opinions placed in one place, and then importantly, the oral arguments right there, because I want to match up the rule, floridarules.net, my appeals, and then where I deconstruct those. And one of the things that I did years ago, and you can see it right here, is I went and grabbed every appeal that I could find and downloaded it and made it available. That was a really fascinating part of our public records. Fascinating fun fact, the very first case I ever filed as a lawyer was a public records case. Look at this one here. This is cool. This one got 3.2 thousand views, but it's an example of taking this information, these appeals, bringing them out from behind the curtain and making it available for all the world to see. That's what we got to do. I'm going to be chasing down this public records issue of dockets being hidden. Thank you. Subscribe, like this.